is a caricature. And so these men who are dressed as women, they are to lip sync and dance in front of me to appeal to me so I don't send them home. One of them has to go home, probably to the Midwest, to a very dysfunctional family. And no one wants to go home, they want to be number one. And so all these contestants are making direct eye contact with me, like, please like me, please dig me. And one of them, as they're dancing away, one of them has a punk rock motif going on, like this kind of short spiky hair, these like fake tattoos, and these hot pants. And a really great way of doing her presentation. Like the music starts, and this one started out like, I was like, all right. Oh, I'll do that. Like, wow. And halfway through, I realized I'm getting turned on by this guy in hot pants. And I'm like, take it easy, that's a guy. And then you keep looking, and they're like, oh, wait a minute. That's a guy, it's a guy, it's a guy. And I am not homosexual, nor am I homophobic, in that if you're gay, fantastic. You know, like you can help it. If you're heterosexual, you can't help that either. That's just how you came out and you're in the big team, and good for you. If you're bisexual, life would be very interesting and dynamic, it seems, because you could basically go to any party or bar or rave or any environment with people in a festive mood and close your eyes, open your mouth, stick your tongue out and run. And anyone that goes, oh, let's go home. And I'm sure it's more complex than that. I'm just having a bit of fun Monday night. But, so I don't care if someone is gay. It's not interesting to me. Like, someone's gay, like, okay, next. I mean, it is what you are, and that's fine. But to be turned on by a guy who's coming on with some hot pants, it didn't upset me. It just made me so aware of what a simple organism I am. And how easily, like, any port in a storm for a guy. That's why women are so frustrated with men, because we don't care what it is. If it goes like this, what? Oh, hey. It could be like a furry, tattooed plumber. He bends over and the guy's like, what am I doing? And I remember distinctly my first pangs of my heterosexual leanings. It was 1960 something. I'm older than all of you. I'm older than this building. I might be older than Brussels. But back in my day, my mother had a stepfather, and I never met him. His name was Doc. That's what she called him. And every year for Christmas, she would send up to New York, where he lived. She would send Doc the Christmas edition of Playboy magazine. And I don't know what that gesture was. It was just maybe an agreed upon, here's the present. I don't know. But I remember one year, like 1967 or 1968, somewhere around there, I got the copy of Playboy. I don't know. I just took it off the table or something, and I had it in my room. And the carpet was blue. I'll never forget the carpet. I'm sitting on this blue carpet, going through Playboy magazine. It had photos. I'm looking at it. But I don't understand what I'm feeling, because I have this incredible feeling in my body. It was like, oh, wow. But I didn't know why. All I knew is I can't stop looking at these photos. And Playboy is not some Larry Flint Hustler magazine gynecological display. It's like breast, buttock, that's it. I mean, it's Playboy. It's not pornography, really. It's just nude women, but they're not being in your face with it. There's kind of like, whoop, my fur coat fell to the ground. Especially in 1968 or whatever it was. And I'm going through these pages going, wow, this is better than Batman. This is better than cake. This is better than my birthday. But I don't know why. And this feeling is, I never knew a human body could feel this way. And I'm going through these photos going, why is this better than air? Why do I think now you could lock me in this room for the rest of my life with this magazine and life would be just fine? And when my mother came down the hallway, where's the Henry? I'm like, what? I'm like, no, I really need that magazine. Take my kidney, take my lungs, but give me the magazine. It was, at that time in my life, the biggest loss I had ever suffered. It's like, oh, really? I really want that. I don't understand why, but I want it. And later on, I found out that, hey, I like women. And so, anyway, RuPaul. So the show goes on and on. It's so long to shoot this show, you get a lunch break. So all afternoon, I have to judge, I have to be impartial. I have to look at these people for like, oh, that was a very high kick, it looked very good, it was choreographed for the music rather well, and damn, I'd like to, what are you doing? And these guys are coming on so hard, it appeals to the most base aspects of your carnal nature. And I am not vulgar by nature. I don't want to say something that you go, oh, really? Because we can do better than that. But when you see these guys, and guys are freaks, right? So when guys are trying to, I'm a woman, and this is what men want. Well, yeah. And when they're doing it, you're kind of like, fuck them. And all of a sudden you're living in a Motley Crue album. You know, you're like, what have I turned into? And we get to lunch, and I'm very, very confused. And the next 3 hours after lunch, I was like, Rube, he's like, it's a distraction, isn't it, baby? And I'm like, something, yes, this is really wild. And so, you know, we made our choice, and one lady boy had to go home, and there's 3 left, and I got back in my car and drove away, thinking, how am I going to explain this to a bunch of people in a venue? Because I'm going to have to. There's no way I'm going to be able to keep this to myself. I'm going to have to be able to say to hundreds of people, I hung out with a bunch of men in hot pants all afternoon, and I dug it. So the next morning, right back to work. White power! I went right back to work. And finally, after months and months and weeks of gainful employment, the season came to an end, and I was free to go. And knowing that I had several days before I had to start this tour, or let's say several days before I got to start this tour, I don't have to go on tour, I want to go on tour. Between tours is where I fret. And so I'm looking at this awful bit of time where I have to invent something to do. And if you leave it to me to invent something for me to do, I need something that inspires awe, that burns lean tissue, that will damage me to the point where I will not be the same on the other end of that experience. Because that, to me, is how I should live my life. I'm not telling you what to do, but I try to be interactive, proactive, and reactive at all times. So I want experiences that force me to evolve, that make me use what little bit of common sense I have. And quite often, I know how little I have because I get lost in every given opportunity. So I see that I have several weeks where I don't have to be anywhere or do anything because I'm waiting for this tour that I'm on right now with you to start. And so I'm on the internet all the time because I'm a curious baby and I want to know everything. And so I see that on December 3rd of last year will be the 25th anniversary of the Bhopal disaster. You remember Bhopal, it's a city in central India. And December 3rd, in the early morning hours of 1984, December 3rd, the Tank 610 at the